Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video with the Marvel Legends Hulkbuster Bath Wave Doctor Strange. As we look at the sides of the packaging, we have Strange himself on one side, then Vision on the other, as the two share packaging under the banner of Marvel Heroes. To find their character names, you need to get out the magnifying glass, and if I was Marvel with a big Doctor Strange movie forthcoming, I'd want his name out there a bit more prominently under the consumers' noses. Here he is out of packaging, yet this ain't no ordinary action figure review, it's an action figure comparison with the earlier counterpart as the two go toe to toe and nose to nose. It's Toy Biz versus Hasbro. We're going to take a look at the various aspects of each one, comparing sculpt, deco, articulation and accessories to decide just which is best. Like this side by side, and clearly we have here Toy Biz's version on the left rendering a classic appearance and Hasbro's on the right much more modern. But with a post-Secret Wars, all new, all different Marvel coming this October, it seems Strange will be returning to his classic look with the addition of a ruddy great battle axe. Toy Biz's is from 2005 and their Galactus Bath Wave, their very first Legends Bath, in fact, that's how long ago that was. No doubt the most immediate difference between the two is the Cloak of Levitation, and here it feels like we're getting more cloak than actual action figure. In comic art, it's often drawn with majesty in the way it billows and seemingly undulates around him, and I guess that's what Toy Biz were going for, but the result is more him getting lost in it. You can't, however, knock the effort. It's sculpted with consideration, you can almost see the textile of the fabric sculpted into its surface, and it has some nice shading. It's just so engulfing of the action figure though, isn't it? It's made from a fairly flexible rubber, but even so with posing him, it's a constant battle between the cloak and his joints as to what's gonna give first. The cloak also hides a lot of the action figure sculpt, which is a shame as it's top notch. The sculpt of his tunic has some really nice naturalistic flow to the creases of the fabric, all accentuated with a level of deco that a decade later just doesn't exist anymore with Marvel Legends. All that shading and dry brushing and then the great cheetah pattern deco on the gloves. Looking at Hasbro's, and I have to admit I'm certainly not the most well read when it comes to Doctor Strange, but I do know that at one point he renounced his status as Sorcerer Supreme, passing the mantle to Brother Voodoo, with Voodoo then gaining the Cloak of Levitation along with the title. So maybe that explains the absence of the cloak with the character design Hasbro have rendered. That would give him some synergy to the Brother Voodoo, or more appropriately Sorcerer Supreme Dr. Voodoo that came in the SDCC Book of the Vishanti box set. Honestly, I really like this modern design. It toes the line between modern simplicity while still giving a nod to the spirit of the character. Obviously the deco is like night to day compared to Toy Biz's though. Before having this new Doctor Strange in hand, I assumed this would follow Blizzard and Vision from the Wave as yet another Bucky Cap repaint, and while it does share parts with those, for instance the legs and upper arms, but it's nice to see the torso is different. So with Bucky Cap we see the defined bulging muscles, yet with Strange in the sculpt it's more subtle with some creases of the tunic raised in relief. I'm not sure about this sculpt on the gloves though, they look less fabric and more like the shell of a mollusk, but the hands are new and as such surprised me. The history of Hasbro's Marvel Legends has taught me to keep my expectations low, so I was half expecting for Strange's signature spellcasting hands to actually be Spidey's web shooting ones. But no! Hasbro's also comes with accessories, these spell effects, I guess you could call them. They are the same as those that came with Scarlet Witch but rendered in a different colour, and that colour is quite complementary to the deep red of the costume. They can be clipped on at the wrists, and as with Wanda, I think they're a great rendition of something that is ephemeral. Taking a closer look, and for head sculpts I certainly have to side with Toy Biz's. Not that Hasbro's is terrible by any means, it's just the paint deco on Toy Biz's makes for more of a naturalistic tone, whereas the flat flesh coloured plastic of Hasbro's makes it look just that, plastic. Also, I'm not exactly sure when when his tash became a full-on Hulk Hogan 70s porn star gay biker handlebar moustache, but there it is on Hasbro's. Now looking at articulation, and the heads both rotate and they look down this much, Hasbro's much more, and Hasbro's also looks up much more too. At the shoulders their arms rotate and they move up this much, Toy Biz more so. Then Toy Biz's has that butterfly armpit joint they used, but here it's not especially practical with only marginal movement. Both have upper arm rotation, then double jointed elbows, but the sculpt of both of them inhibits some of that range. Toy Biz's rotates at the top of the glove, whereas Hasbro's rotates at the wrist. Then both have wrist hinges moving the hands up and down. Then Toy Biz's has articulated fingers, well, the middle two at least. Honestly, articulating them doesn't make that much difference in the pose though, but magic novice that I am, for all I know, that could mean the difference between being turned into a frog or a fish. Both have waist rotation, then Hasbro's has an ab crunch which moves this far forward and then this far back. At the hips, their respective skirts does inhibit the movements of the legs out to the side and also inhibits the full range of movement of the legs forward and back. Both have upper leg rotation, double jointed knees, then both have lower leg rotation and ankle hinges moving the feet backwards and forwards. Toy Biz's has toe articulation, but I'd sacrifice that for an ankle pivot as it has none, whereas Hasbro's has that great ankle rocker pivot that I love. So all things considered, and I'm kind of on the fence here, maybe that's because I'm not super invested in the character. For those that are, I think you'd probably prefer the classic design, but for me that always smacked of comic artists in the 60s dropping too much acid. So I like the modern design, but then it's hard not to be swayed by the level of unique sculpt and deco on Toy Biz's. I just don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Either way, with a movie coming down the line and the spotlight that casts, I don't think this is the last we'll be seeing of Doctor Strange action figures. Anyway, for more Toy Biz versus Hasbro action figure comparison, click the video on the right for the Wasp. As ever, I sure would appreciate it if you could give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.